everybody, welcome to another of my videos. So this time we're going to stay down on the floor, you don't even need a mat, and we're going to do some nice deep work into the hips, into those quads and into the hamstrings. Apparently they say you hold quite a lot of emotion in your hips, so hopefully we'll work into releasing some of that stress and tension and emotion today. So if you have got a couple of blocks, fab. If not, grab a book, a couple of books, so we might need them later on, and it's always handy if you have a cushion or a bolster to have one of those on hand as well. But we're going to start working into these hips, so just coming into a butterfly as we begin our practice. So soles of the feet together, you can take them quite far forward so you don't have to have them right close into the body. And then we're just going to take the hands to the feet and just begin to bounce out those knees. So just gently working the hips up and down. Slowing the breath down. Just scanning over the body to see how you're feeling today. Let the shoulders relax. And then gently just coming to a stillness, so we'll bring those knees down as low as we can to the ground, holding on to the feet if you can, opening up through the chest. We're going to just gently begin to pull the body forward. So hopefully you're feeling a nice opening right at the top of the thighs here, inside those adductor muscles, into the hip flexors. So just taking some nice deep breaths. We're going to keep this nice and slow today, nice and chilled. Make sure we work really deep into the fascia, into the muscle. So every inhale, just allow the body to come forward just a little bit. As you exhale, soften and relax into your posture. If it feels okay, you might want to start bringing the body forward. So inhaling to open and exhaling, just rocking the body forwards over the legs. If you can hook your elbows to the outside of your shins like this will allow you to press back in towards the legs, drawing the body forward. If it's too much, that's absolutely fine to stay up here as long as you're feeling this lovely opening into the hips. Obviously, if you're feeling super flexible already, you can come all the way down. But it really will depend on the time of the day, what you've already been doing, as to how open we are. So keep that breath lovely and smooth. One more deep breath in. As you exhale, let's gently roll up through the spine. Just release off those knees. So use the hands to help them, draw them back to center. Give yourself a nice big hug. So we're going to come down into our half butterflies. So we need to take the right leg out in front of you, just to the side. Draw that left foot in towards the inside of the right thigh. And just bring the hands on the hips. So just make sure those sit bones are nice and firmly planted into the ground. Lovely. And when you're ready, we're just going to turn the body round to face over our extended leg. So it's facing over our right leg. Pressing the left knee down with the left hand. We're going to take a little reach for our right foot. So just reaching down, hinging forward at these hips. So keep releasing the left knee down, keep reaching forward with the chest, breathing nice and deeply. So bring the awareness to the back of the right thigh, begin to press it down towards the ground. Press the right heel away from you so your toes are coming back towards the face. If it feels okay, we're going to take that left hand onto the right leg as well. So if it doesn't reach the foot, no problem at all. Take hold of the calf or the thigh. And again, let's just begin to release. So use the breath. As you breathe in, have a visualization of hollowing out that belly. So we're scooping the belly in. As we exhale, we're folding over into the space that we've created. Close your thighs if that feels good. And really just focus on what you're feeling and what the body's doing. Make sure this left knee doesn't ride all the way up. Keep drawing that down to the ground. One more breath here. Beautiful. Gently walking those hands back up. Growing tall through the spine. We're going to just bring the right hand to the left knee. Take the left hand behind us. And have a little peek around our shoulder. So get a nice little twist into that spine. It should feel like a nice release after the forward folding. And coming back to center. So this time we're just going to draw that right leg back to center so it's pointing in front of us, and take the left leg all the way over the top. So your left foot's to the outside of the right thigh. So if you want to here, you can swing that right leg round back behind you. So we're coming into our twist, half Lord of the Fishes pose. Sitting up nice and tall. When you're ready, taking that left hand up and sweeping it round behind, giving your left thigh a nice big hug with your right arm. Breathing into this stretch. So hopefully you'll be feeling a nice deep stretch down the left hip, the left glute. The more you hug this knee in, the more you're going to feel it. So again, stay with your breath. Don't let the breath do anything crazy. Don't hold the breath. Don't let it run away from you. Just keep it nice and steady. Slow and steady. Beautiful, releasing it back to center. So from here, let's bring our right leg back out in front if it's not already there. Excuse me, we're going to drop our left knee down on top of our right. So you might want to do a little bit of shuffling. Don't worry if you can't get it completely on top. So I want you to feel a big stretch into this left hip. This might be absolutely enough for you. If it's not and you want to take it deeper, again, bring those hands to the hips. So bring your awareness down. You're rooting down into the ground with your sit bones, hinging at the pelvis, coming over the thigh, leading with the chest. And if it feels okay, we're going to release our hands down to the floor. So you're just applying gentle pressure, on top of your leg. And you will really feel this in the back of that right hamstring. It's quite an intense opening. It's lovely to do this little sequence at the end of the day, especially if you've maybe gone for a run or been working hard at the gym, or even if you've just been walking around all day. It's a nice release for tired legs. So don't need a mat, don't need any equipment. You can do it in front of the telly. If you want to take it one stage further, so the little idea is to bring those hands underneath the foot. See if you can lift that leg off the floor just a little bit. Just increase that stretch just that little bit further. Gently releasing back down. So rolling up through the spine. Beautiful. Taking the knees, the legs back out in front of you. And again, give yourself a nice big squeeze. So we are opening quite a lot, quite early in this little sequence. So it is quite strong on the hips and the legs. So we'll take that over to the other side. So this time we want our left leg to come out to the side. And we want our right leg to come in. So again, let's bring our right hand to the knee. Make sure that's down. Left hand to the left hip. And just turn our body to face over our left leg first. So get that spine spine nice and long, chest nice and open. And when you're ready, we're going to reach for that left foot. So we're keeping the hip square, we're keeping the right hip open. Nice deep breath. So feel the left leg and the left hamstring begin to release. Keep pressing this knee down to the ground. So your awareness should be in the back of the left leg and in the right hip opening. Nice deep breaths. Pressing away with the left heel, left toes coming back towards you. If it feels alright, sweep that right hand around and take 2 hands to the foot. So inhaling to open and exhaling to fold down just a little bit deeper. Keep the face nice and soft. Don't hold any tension there, so just make sure the corners of the mouth, the temples, the space between your eyebrows, make sure there's nothing crazy going on there, make sure they're nice and relaxed. Beautiful, gently release. So walking the body back. We're going to take this into our little twist. So just taking the left hand over to the right knee, right hand comes behind, have a little peek over your right shoulder. So getting that lovely long twist in the spine, you should really feel it. That nice ringing out effect. Releasing back to center. Beautiful. So that's taking it into a deeper twist, taking that left foot right in front of you, right leg comes over the top. So your right foot's right up by your left thigh, hugging that knee in. If it feels okay, sweeping the left leg around behind you. So sitting nice and tall, grounding down into those sit bones, right arm lifts up and it wraps round behind you, left arm hugs in the right thigh. Growing tall through the crown of the head, breathing into this right glute, IT band, so you should really feel it down the right leg. Beautiful, gently coming back to center. So we'll sweep our left leg back out in front and drop that right knee down. So coming into this stretch over the leg, I'm going to spin sideways so you can see this time. So right knee is aligned over the left. If it's not quite there, don't worry. And if you don't feel like coming into a forward fold, don't worry. But if you do, we're going to open through the chest. And then we're going to lead with the heart, coming down over the leg. Nice and gently. You should feel a really strong stretch down the back of this left leg. Gently applying this pressure through the chest onto the thighs. Use your breath, slow it down. Breathing deeply, just trying to find some softness, trying to find that release through the back of the left leg. You want to take it one stage further, see if you can just wrap your hands underneath the leg and maybe lift that foot off the floor. So we're just bringing that stretch just a little bit more intensity into it. Beautiful, gently rolling back up. Releasing off the legs, giving yourself a nice big hug. Curling into a little ball. And then we're just going to bring the legs down and roll forwards over our knees into a tabletop. So I'm not going to ask you to do a cat-cow. I'm going to ask you to do whatever feels good for you right now. So you could just do a normal cat-cow, or you could maybe just bring some fluid movements into it with the hips. Whatever feels nice. And then coming to a stillness, I just want you to ground down through those hands. Draw the belly button into the spine, so we're taking that arch away from the back, and then just gently draw the feet into the bottom. So you should feel here your hamstrings activating. So rather than stretching those hamstrings, they're contracting, which we don't often do. So keep squeezing, pointing those toes, really feeling this activation here. Gently release. Beautiful. Well done, guys. So from here, engage the core again. We're going to take the left leg back and the right arm forwards. Nice strong core. Keeping everything nice and still as we sweep the right arm round. Take hold of the left foot into our tiger's tail. So breathing nice and deeply here. If you can't reach the left foot, we're going to be here. We're going to be reaching and bending through the knee. So you'll feel that activation again in the hamstring, in the calf, if you're not holding onto the leg. So lifting as high as we can, opening through the chest. Can you lower down onto your forearm? Maybe lift that leg a little higher up in the air. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, release it back down. Beautiful. Have a little rock from side to side. So working into those quads, into those hamstrings. We'll take it on the other side. So nice breath, centering breath. Find your balance. When you're ready, we're going to go right leg back and left arm forwards. So make sure you've got a nice base here, a nice firm base. So your right arm is directly under your right shoulder. Sweeping the arm round, lifting the leg into your tiger's tail. Breathing here. So try and keep everything nice and steady. That feels okay. We're going to lower down onto this right forearm, see if we can kick the leg just a little bit higher. Stay with that breath. This requires quite a lot of control of the breath. And inhale, lift it back up. Exhale, float everything back down. Have a little rock from side to side. We're going to come briefly into our downward dog. It's about as high as we're going to get in this class today. So let's just take the hands a little bit forwards. Really spread through those fingers. Tuck through the toes and lift the hips up to the sky. So working into your downward dog. Have a little walk. You should feel that your hamstrings are nice and open already though. So we won't worry too much. We'll come to a stillness and see if we can get our heels a little bit closer to the ground than normal. All that work into the hamstring should be paying off. Then as we breathe in, let's take it into a three-legged dog. So left leg lifts. As we breathe out, let's bend the knee and take the knee through to the nose. Gently releasing the foot down between the hands. You can always shuffle it along with your hands to help. Dropping that right knee and untucking the toes. So we're coming to low lunge. So from here, I want you to come onto the fingertips and really draw the heart forwards. Begin to sink your right hip flexor down to the ground. Nice deep breaths. We're going to bring a little bit of buoyancy into this. So we're just going to begin to bounce backwards and forwards. So you can keep a connection between your chest and your thigh. So we might not be too elaborate with our movements. But every time you come forward, see if you can get that hip just a little bit lower. Pausing here. When you feel ready, taking one hand and two onto the knee, interlacing the fingers, excuse me. Oh dear. Interlacing the fingers and pressing the hip down to the ground. So you want the knee to stay above the ankle. Don't let the knee shoot forward, but allow the hip to drop down. So if you need to, here, shuffle your foot forward. That's my cuckoo clock. It's 11 o'clock. going to be a lot of cuckoos. Nice deep breaths. Actively engage through the core, through the glutes, through the quads. Beautiful. We're going to sweep our arms around behind us and interlace the fingers, squeezing the shoulder blades together, drawing the hands down, lifting the chest. Breathing deeply. If it feels okay for you here, you can have a little go at hooking that foot into your hands, drawing that foot into the bottom. So activating through the quad. Gently release, sweeping the arms up to the sky. Exhale, float the hands down inside your left leg. So we're going to ground down into our left hand and gently sweep the right arm up into a twist. Nice deep breaths. Exhale, take the hand all the way over, ground down into the right hand. Take the left hand onto your left knee and begin to press your knee out and down. So kind of diagonally in front of you. So we're opening the hip and sinking it forwards. Nice deep breaths, beautiful guys. So from here, if you want to, you can have a little go at bending that knee, bending the knee again, reaching round with the left hand, taking hold of the right foot. So again, a really big stretch down that quad. Final stage, if you want to take it further, just to lower down onto that right forearm. Gently releasing back out. We're going to float the hands back down by our side. Get a nice long spine. Sink those hips down one more time. Well done, everybody. So from here, grounding down into the hands. Tuck your right toes under. Step it all the way back into your downward facing dog. Breathing here. So this time, let's ground down into the left leg, lift the right leg into a three-legged dog. On your breath out, let's bend the knee, sweep the foot all the way through. Between the hands, drop the left knee down, untuck your toes. Sink it down into your low lunge. So come onto the fingertips first. Get that connection between your thigh and your chest and your stomach, and we're just going to bounce it back and forwards. So you'll feel the hip opening, that left hip flexor down the front of your left leg. Bringing it into the outside of the right hip. Working into the back of the right hamstring. So nice deep breaths. Nice fluid movements. Well done. We're going to pause when we get to the front. So in our low lunge. Sinking the hips as low as we can. If you need to shuffle your foot here, please do. Try and get that nice right angle in the right knee when you're ready. Right hand comes to the knee, left hand comes. You're going to interlace the fingers and you're going to send those hips down even more. So nice deep breaths. Try and keep your gaze in front of you. Shoulders relax, heart is opening as you inhale, taking your arms around you, interlacing the fingers, opening through the chest, squeezing the shoulder blades together. So from here, if it feels good, take it into a little quad stretch, hooking the foot with the hands. Feeling nice and grounded in the sole of the right foot. That's where your foundations are. Keep that leg lovely and strong. Exhale, release. Arms sweeping up. Exhale, float them down inside your right leg. So right hand, left leg comes down, grounding down into the right hand as you take your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, release. Grounding down into that left hand, bringing the right hand to the right knee. Gently easing that hip open a little bit more. So really breathing into this right hip, opening it out. Nice deep breaths. If you want to here, we're going to bend that knee in again and sweep round, taking hold of the left foot with the right hand. Working into the quad, try and bring the hips down. You'll feel it stronger as you sink the hips forwards. If you want to here, lower onto that left forearm. Gently releasing back out. Well done, everybody. Sweeping that right arm all the way up, bringing it down either side of the foot, squaring everything off, sinking the hips down. We're going to press the hands down into the ground, tuck those left toes, and send it all the way back into our downward facing dog. Hopefully you didn't have a cat in your way. Hi, Casper. Exhale, release. So you should feel like you've got a lovely downward dog. You should be able to get your heels nice and close down to the ground. Taking some nice deep breaths here. And then as we exhale, let's drop the knees. Take it into a nice wide-legged child's pose. Allowing the chest to come down to the floor, reaching the fingertips away. You really reach with those fingers, really sink the tailbone back. Hi, Casper. That's a good demonstration. It's a good demonstration. Right, as we inhale, let's come back up onto all fours and let's just shake it off. So any movements you want to make, take them now. We're going to come into a similar set of stretches, but we're going to take them just that little bit deeper. So this will really, really get quite deep into the hips, quite strong. So make sure you've got your cushions or your blocks handy, or your books if you've got them. So from here, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg up. Exhale, sweep it all the way through between the hands. So back into your low lunge, drop the knee, untuck the toes. So this time, we're going to come into our little bouncing back and forwards, but we're going to begin to walk the foot a little bit further forward. So we're going to work wherever we want to go in our prep for splits. So we're either going to come into a really nice deep lizard, or we're going to come into our own variation of the split. So if you're coming to lizard, I advise you to get your left leg as far forward as you can. So let's try and make this a nice deep lizard. The last thing you want in lizard is to have your knee overshooting the ankle like this. So at the very minimum, make sure you've got it underneath the knee. Taking your left hand inside, so you've got both hands inside your left leg, and begin to release down. So you can just begin to sink the hip. You can stay up here on the lengthened arms, or you can come down onto your forearms. So this is where you're going to be in lizard. If you've got a bolster or a pillow, you can always use that. So you can always release down onto something like this. And all you want to be concentrating on is your left foot just slightly shuffling forward. So you're going to begin to open those hips. If you want to take it a little stage further, this is where we need our 2 blocks. So I advise having one either side of you. And we're going to just come into, as far as we can, our splits. So we're just going to shuffle that left leg forwards and bring the right leg back. So let's not take it too far to begin with. It's sometimes good to have quite a high support. It's nice to have socks on. It's nice to be on something you can slide on. Just begin to release. So we're going to go for a few minutes in this stretch, and every 30 seconds we're going to see if we can make it a little bit deeper. But keep those hips square to the front of the room and watch your breath. So make sure that breath stays lovely and smooth, lovely and deep. Chest is open, right hip is coming down. This is so important to use your breath here. This is not Gonna feel really natural for most people, so this is where we need to use our yoga, we need to use our breathing techniques, and we need to try and let the body release where it's trying to fight. So you'll feel where it's resisting. That's where you need to send your breath, send your awareness. So from here, I'm just going to release my blocks down a little bit lower. I'm just going to shuffle that right leg back a little bit further. It might not look very different. I mean, I can't do the splits. This is about as far as I go. But you'll really feel a difference. Just those micro movements. Keep squaring the hips off though. The more you open them out to the side, the less this is going to be working into your splits. Staying with it. Well done, everyone. This is a nasty, strong stretch. Some people might like it, but we're going to feel great afterwards, so let's think about that. So if you're really low, you might find that you can place a block or your book underneath you. When there's something to release onto, sometimes it allows the body to come down just a little bit more. Maybe play with pointing your toes up, releasing them down. Gonna go for 30 more seconds, guys. Well done. If you feel you want to slide your left leg back, it might allow the right hip to come down lower. Because there's the two things we're stretching. We're stretching down the front of this right hip flexor, down the back of the left hamstring. So you can play with which part feels more intense by shuffling your weight backwards and forwards. Two more nice deep breaths, full body breaths, inhaling through the nose. And exhaling, one more breath. And exhaling, beautiful. So wherever you are, whether you're in your lizard, whether you're in your splits, we're just going to gently rock those hips all the way back into our half split. So again, nice place to use the two blocks if you can. You can have them nice and long if you want your spine to release as well. And just gently press those hips back. That should feel really nice. Beautiful. Gently coming forward. So we're going to make our way back into a tabletop, tucking that left knee back under. And making any movements. You should feel a little bit funny on one side. Your left side might feel a little bit tingly. But that's just good. That means we've got really deep into the fascia. All that connective tissue in the body. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So fingers crossed. Right side is your good side. Hopefully it's not going to be worse. So tucking your toes under. Let's come to our downward dog first. Notice the difference here in your left leg and your right. See how it feels. Then when you're ready, right leg comes up, three-legged. Exhale, bring it all the way through. So coming back to low lunge, adjusting the legs where you need to. So again, if you're coming into a lizard, make sure your foot is not behind the knee. Make sure we're not here, because that won't stretch into the right places. We want the foot underneath that knee at a very minimum. Beautiful. So lizard, hands come down inside the right leg. And just begin to lower down. So you'll feel a lovely deep stretch down the front of this left hip flexor and into the right hip crease. If we're coming forward, taking the hands either side, grabbing onto your blocks, wherever you need them, and just slowly sliding down. So this is not my good side, as you can probably see, but we're going to come down just the same. So wherever you feel you want the blocks, they can be short or long, whatever feels good. I quite like to have mine quite high because I like to keep my spine quite long when I work into this stretch. So keep squaring those hips off. Try not to let the left hip open out to the side. Breathing deeply. So it's not often that we take the time to work into these kind of stretches. It's not the sort of thing you do on a whim, so sometimes it's nice to actually take a little bit of time and effort and dedicate a little bit of focus into these areas. So I'm just going to release my blocks down to the lower side, shuffle that left leg back just a little smidge, start deepening my breath even further. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. All your awareness into those hips. Close off the eyes if that feels good. Just concentrate on your breath. Softening through the face, through the jaw. One more minute here, guys. If it feels good, we're going to lower down to our lowest setting. That's not really the right word, setting, is it? It's sounding right. So lowering down, maybe releasing onto a cushion or a bolster or onto your block or a book. Again, try and draw that left hip down. Mine is having a tendency to open, so I'm going to keep squaring it off. You're doing really well, we're nearly there. Let's go for 3 nice big deep breaths. So inhaling through the nose. Exhale, sigh out through the mouth. And again. Inhaling. Exhaling. Last time, inhaling. And exhaling. Beautiful. So from wherever you are, we're going to shuffle our way back to those half splits. So really mindfully, nice and gently, walking the right foot in if you're in splits, sinking the hips back, taking the hands either side of that right leg. You can grab onto your blocks again, if that feels good. Sinking the hips back, pointing those toes, nice length in the spine. Lovely little release down the back of that right leg. Well done, everyone. So that really, really was a deep hip workout. I wouldn't normally spend that long in a class doing just that, but sometimes it's nice to be able to do something a little bit different. So from here, just gently coming back into your child's pose, into your tabletop, shaking it off, coming back into child's pose. So really nice deep child's pose. Allow the chest to come all the way down to the ground. And gently coming back. So swinging your legs around in front of you. We'll just take a really nice couple of deep releases after that, all that hard work. I know you might feel a little bit funny around the hip area now. So we'll just come into Paschimottanasana. Lovely forward fold. So just rolling the flesh away from the sit bones and hinging at these hips. So sweeping the arms up, opening through the chest as we exhale, hinging at the hips and reaching for your toes. So if you can't quite reach them, you can grab hold of anything. If you're feeling super open now, option here to put a block with my bolster at the end of your feet. So it just gives you a little bit more length to draw the body into. So allow the head and the neck to just release down. Bring your awareness to your lower spine. Make sure there's no tension there. If there is, open it up a bit, lengthen through the spine. Maybe take a little bend in these knees. When you're ready, gently release out of that stretch, coming all the way back. Take the hands behind, fingertips forwards, open through the chest, shoulders wrapping around the back. Beautiful. So just shuffle the bottom forward. We're going to come all the way down onto the floor and just do a nice little bit of releasing before we finish our practice today. So let's just let those hamstrings release off. So taking the right leg up. If you have a strap you like to work with, please feel free. Otherwise, you can take hold of the back of the thigh or the back of the calf, wherever feels nice. Option to send that left leg away long. Try and keep the leg as straight as you can. Gently applying pressure. Maybe just pointing the toes, flexing the feet. And gently release that one back down. So we'll swap it over the legs. Right foot comes down. Left leg extends up to the sky. Let's stretch that hamstring out. Option to send the right leg away long. Gently release. So from here, take the left foot down and take the right foot onto the left knee. So open the hip out. Nice little glute stretch here. We're going to thread our hands through that gap, taking hold of the outside of that left shin. And just draw the knee into the chest. You should really feel that down this right glute. You want to lifting the head. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. And then from here, we want only to hug your right knee in towards the chest. I just want you to just drop this left knee down to the floor. So your foot is coming back up towards you. So as if we're in a reclining hero pose, holding onto your left foot. So this should give a really nice deep stretch down the front of your left quad. Gently release, hug both knees in. Beautiful. So this time we're going to take the right knee down and put the left leg onto the right knee. Coming into our glute stretch. Drawing the knee in towards the body. Breathing into that left glute. Beautiful. So release it down. Hug your left knee in. So left knee hugs in. And then this right leg is just going to drop down like this. So your knee's pointing down and your foot's coming back up. So you should feel a lovely big stretch down the front of that right quad. Gently release, hugging both knees in, take them nice and wide, wrap the arms around, rock it from side to side. And then to finish, we'll just finish with a nice reclining straddle. So that's take the legs up nice and long. We're reaching with the hands, taking hold of the outside of the feet. And if you can, we're going to open it up. Maybe rock from side to side. Let everything go. Beautiful, well done guys, really good work today. We're going to take the soles of our feet together, finishing in Supta Baddha Konasana, so allowing the hips to open up, knees coming down to the ground, allowing the arms to come down to the floor, palms facing up, and taking however long you need in this position. Be nice and kind to the body for the rest of the day. It's done a lot of work that was quite intense, stretching into the hips, into the hamstrings, into the calves and the quads. So I really hope you will feel lovely and stretched out for the rest of the day. Enjoy the sunshine, and I hope you're all surviving indoors. Hope to see you all soon. Bye bye.